Now, just a few minutes left of the show, but let's talk about Donald Trump. The US Supreme Court is set to rule today on whether to uphold Colorado's bid to ban Donald Trump from running for the presidency ahead of Super Tuesday tomorrow, when some 16 states will decide on their candidates. Join me now to discuss this is Adam Coleman, who's a columnist at the New York Post. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
Right, just explain, just very briefly, if you would, so, where we are with this, because this is all as a result of a ruling by the Colorado Supreme Court.
Yeah, right now we're waiting on the ruling. Personally, I think that the Supreme Court will not uphold this decision. I think Donald Trump will be able to be on the ballot for every state throughout the United States. I think this was a politically charged decision to try and even move forward with something like this with very little basis to do so, other than saying that he incited something. He's loosely responsible for something, but he's not responsible for the actions of a few. If that was the case, there would be a lot more people, especially involved in politics, who wouldn't be able to run for president.
Well, indeed. I mean, they ruled in the Colorado Supreme Court in December that he couldn't stand for election because he had, quote, engaged in insurrection or rebellion as forbidden under the 14th Amendment of the US Constitution. Even I, again, I'm not a Trump fan, would question that. But would that have prevented, this is over the Capitol riots, obviously, on January the 6th, would that have prevented him standing in any state or just one state? And are you not able to run for the presidency if you don't run in every state?
No, you can still run for presidency.
Colorado?
So,
yeah.
For example, we have independent candidates who are only able to get on the ballot for certain states and not other states. Yeah. And obviously, they don't go very far. But what it would have done was inspired other states who want to be politically motivated to do something like this. So, that's the issue that we might face in our country, is that once one state takes up an action, the other states follow suit.
I can't imagine that working out very well for American democracy in terms of what Trump supporters would feel in that scenario. I mean, he's had a number, 3 more victories at the weekend, although Nikki Haley finally won, Washington, D.C., well done her. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's got Super Tuesdays at 15 states. I think I said 60, but 15 tomorrow that will decide. He's the runaway Republican candidate. Joe Biden, the runaway Democrat candidate. We're rerunning the last election. Do you think there is anything that can stop Donald Trump, even one of these court cases, getting to not just to court, but actually a criminal court case that leads him to an actual, possibly a criminal conviction? Do you think even that would stop him?
No. Personally, I thought all of this, whether it be the court cases coming from Colorado, or the court case in Georgia, which is looking like it's quickly falling apart, I think there's been a desperate attempt to use the judicial system to go after Donald Trump, and it is quickly failing. Now, the only way that it has succeeded in hurting Donald Trump is that he's spending all his campaign money defending himself and legal fees. Right. So if you were to look at how much money he's taking in, how much money he's spending on legal fees, it's a significant portion. Yeah. So that is one way they are hurting him, and that theoretically could hurt his chances.
When he first got elected in 2016, he'd spent way less than Hillary Clinton, and he still got elected.
That is very true. So money is not the entire indicator. Right, but money is a significant factor. And if these court cases keep going on, how much more of his campaign money is going to deplete?
And the focus, of course. Yeah. And just finally, Nikki Haley, she's finally won. She couldn't even win in her own South Carolina state, where she was governor for 6 years, for goodness sake. She's won in D.C. It doesn't really matter. It's a tiny little constituency. She's hanging on for dear life, just in the hope that something happens, Donald Trump goes by the wayside and she could be the Republican candidate. Do you think she stands a chance?
Not at all. That's why she's hanging on to this small victory in Washington, D.C., which really doesn't matter all that much. No. The truth is that Super Tuesday is basically mediocre Tuesday. We already know what's going to happen on both sides.
OK. And in terms of, even if Donald Trump got dumped as a Republican candidate, if those delegates decided to vote differently, he'd run as an independent anyway, wouldn't he?
I don't know the process behind that, because he might have to do something different to be on the ballot as an independent. But I think that's so extreme. I don't ever see that happening.
He's the Republican candidate, full stop.
Full stop. He's extremely, extremely popular.
Adam Coleman, really appreciate you joining us. No doubt talk to you many more times over the coming months. He's at the New York Post. Thank you very much. Final word to Sam Armstrong. Look, he is really popular. I have to say, not a Donald Trump fan over the years, but I can absolutely see why someone would vote for him now and not for Joe Biden. I get that.
Yeah, look, I'm really not a Donald Trump fan in many ways, but he's predicted to win, and I am slightly looking forward to seeing the faces on all the usual suspects howling in outrage.
There is that. There is always a part of that. But again, have not the political classes, media classes, have they not created this phenomenon themselves?
Yeah, look, Donald Trump should not exist, right? Politicians should be addressing the basic worries, concerns, fears of ordinary
But he
public.
does. He does. He talks about taxes, he talks about the border. That's a massive concern.
The question isn't why is Donald Trump doing well? It's why aren't other politicians addressing these same problems?
Given his major personality failings and past, and others, you'd think, you know what, if you can't stand someone better than him, I feel the same way about George Galloway. You know, if you can't do better than him, then it's your own fault. Sam Armstrong, pleasure to have had your company. Thank you for coming back on the show.